There is nothing that brings me more joy than gift giving. I'm pretty sure that's my love language. I love it so much, which is why Christmas time, holiday season, is the best and most stressful time of the year for me. I love coming up with unique individual gifts for people, but also sometimes it's really hard. So in today's video, I'm going to give you a few ideas for the book lover in your life, for the non-reader in your life, coming from a book lover, and everything in between. Welcome back to my channel. I have come up with a list of some ideas for your bookish friends or some ideas for your own wish list if you're wondering what to ask for Christmas. And then I also have some ideas for friends and family that might not be as into reading as you are, because let's face it, most people aren't as into reading as we are, right? But it is fun to try and find the perfect book for people that don't read as much as you do. So I have some suggestions and ideas for that as well. While we do this, I'm going to be wrapping some gifts, not for other people, for myself, because of course I am. I am going to be wrapping up some books that I will be using for a vlog later in the month. So stay tuned for that. I figured I'd kill two birds with one stone in this video. All right, so when it comes to shopping for your bookish friends, the first thing I'm gonna suggest might be a little boring, but I'm not gonna lie to you when I tell you it's one of my favorite things to receive. And that is gift cards, okay? I know what you're thinking. You'd rather get something personal for your friend, for your loved one, but there is nothing that brings me more joy than book shopping. And when I don't have to worry about the cost of things because I have a gift card, the sky is the limit. It's the best. I have some family members who give me Barnes gift cards almost every year. It is the best. It just is giving them an opportunity to get a new book. It will mean the world to them, I promise you. So when in doubt, go to your local bookstore, go to your local Barnes, go on Amazon and get a gift card. It's that simple. Another gift that I absolutely love receiving and can never have enough of are bookmarks. They come in all shapes and sizes. There are a million different ways to find a bookmark, buy a bookmark, make a bookmark. And if you're anything like me and you like to match your books to your bookmarks, then you can never have enough bookmarks, right? I have wooden ones. I have ones that I've gotten from bookstores, from Etsy, from friends, from gifts. It's absolutely one of the easiest and more budget-friendly gifts to give somebody who loves to read. And I couldn't recommend it enough. All right, one book down. I accidentally bought tissue paper instead of wrapping paper, so it's not gonna be the prettiest wrapping, but it'll do the job. Another wonderful gift idea for your favorite bookish loved one is a book light, especially if they, unlike me, are in a partnership where sometimes they want to read in bed. They don't want to wake up their spouse or partner or boyfriend, girlfriend, dog, what have you. I don't judge. Love is love. I have owned a few book lights in my life, and let me tell you, it's a game changer. Because if you're like me, you fall asleep reading, and that's your favorite way to fall asleep. Then you wake up in the middle of the night and realize your light is still on. But if you have a book light, you don't have to worry about that. You can read in the dark. You can read anywhere. You can read in a car. You can read on a plane. You can read in bed with somebody sitting next to you, staring at you, or sleeping, or whatever you people do in your bedrooms. Okay, we're crossing the line now, guys. Relax. You can easily find book lights on Amazon. You can find them in bookstores, and they come in like really cute colors now. I don't know, just seems like a good idea, right? This is my favorite one. Isn't it cute? Pink reindeer. My next bookish idea for that special someone in your life is a special edition of their favorite book. This has become a very, very lucrative industry. All of these companies now make special editions of popular books. There are a million different ways to find special editions is something that will be cherished and loved by the person you give it to. I promise you. I take such pride in some of my special editions. There would be nothing that would bring me more joy than somebody that knows me well enough to choose a book that they know that I love and find a beautiful edition of it with sprayed edges or gold foiling. The sky's the limit, honestly. And if you're a book collector, if you love books, that's the best gift, right? Another book. I am not doing a very good job of wrapping, but you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. I don't know how I ended up buying tissue. This is what happens when you make purchases late at night from Amazon. Oops, oops, oops. Another fun idea, and this could be something that you could literally buy yourself, and I have, and that is a blind date with a book. You can find these in most of your local bookstores as well as on Etsy, and it's so much fun to choose a book that is all wrapped up, kind of like what I'm doing right now, and it will tell you a few teeny tiny little things about the book. So it might tell you if you liked these books, then pick this one. It might tell you the tropes that are involved in it, and you have no idea what you're getting until you get home and unwrap it. How fun is that? My little brother got me a blind date with a book last year. He bought it from an independent seller on Etsy, and it came with like a little T, a little bookmark, and it like suggested what person this book would be perfect for, and it was so much fun. It was packaged beautifully, and it was so much fun to open. I feel like that is like one of the best bookish gifts that you can give. You can also create your own. If there's a book that you absolutely love, you can give it to a friend wrapped all up with some little bookish goodies with it. How fun is that? Speaking of Etsy, there are so many Etsy shops out there that have so many fun bookish ideas. There are bookish mugs, there are bookish candles, there are bookish bookmarks, there are bookish sweatshirts and t-shirts and sweatpants, there are bookish art prints. All of these things would be great gifts for a book lover. And you'd be supporting an independent artist, which I always think is an amazing thing to do, especially this time of year. So go on Etsy, type in bookish gifts, type in your friend's favorite book, and go crazy, go nuts. Us book lovers all have one thing in common, and that is literally anything that has to do with books. We will love it. We will love it. So it doesn't really matter. Just pick something, and I guarantee you it's going to go over super well. One of the coolest gifts you can give a book lover, especially one who is a collector like me and has a library, is a bookish stamp, so that they can stamp their books in their library. You can get it personalized to say that person's name, and it just is such a fun idea. I would absolutely love to be able to stamp all of the books in my library and say Charlie's Library. I just think that's like the most unique individual gift to give someone, and it'll make them so happy, I promise you. If you want something a little bit more practical with a little bit of a higher price tag, I'm gonna go ahead and recommend a Kindle, okay? I know, I was an elitist too. I was a physical book only elitist for a very long time. But I recently got a Kindle for myself, and it did change my life. It honestly did. You can have a million books at your fingertips at any given time. It travels so easily. They are so light. If you're anything like me, I used to travel with like 8 books. I would go home for the weekend to visit my family, and I would literally take 8 books with me for a weekend. Because what if I finish a book and I need another one? And what if I don't know what I'm in the mood for? I used to carry around so many books. I used to plan my purses around how many books I needed to fit in them. And now I have this teeny little Kindle that has all of the books that I could ever want at my fingertips. And I don't have to lug around all of my books anymore. If you read as much as I do, as quickly as I do, it is something that's almost a must-have at this point. You need a Kindle. You need a Kindle. So put it on your wish list. Get it for your bookish loved one. I'm telling you, your life will never be the same. God, I just really am not doing a good job. Now, part 2 of this video is going to be talking about gifts you can give your family and friends that might not be as big of a reader as you. Now, if you're like me, you have people in your life who always say, wow, you read so much. How do you do it? I don't read that much. I wish I could read. I'd love to read. I don't know where to start. And I have been there. I have been there. I took a big old break from reading when I was in college and in my early 20s, I just forgot about my love of reading. And when I came back to the world of books, I had no idea where to start. There were a million books out there, a million authors that I had never heard of, and I didn't know where to begin. So one of my favorite things to do as a book lover is find people that maybe don't read as much as I do and find the perfect book that is going to make them fall in love with reading, just like I did. It's so much fun. It's so much fun. So I'm going to give you some pretty basic stereotypes, and hopefully some of these will make you think of someone in your life, and I'll give you some examples of a book you might be able to get them. So for our middle-aged woman stereotype, okay, there's always going to be outliers, but I'm thinking of my mom. I'm thinking of my coworkers. They don't want something horror. They don't want something super smutty. They're probably not into an epic fantasy. So for that type of reader, you've got your historical fiction. You've got your women's fiction. Things like Ellen Hildebrand. Anything that you would see as like a beachy read. Anything that you would see as like a World War II love story. Those are the type of books that I'm telling you. Even if they haven't read a day in their life in the last 20 years, give them a book like that and they will change their mind about reading. What about the men, right? We all have men in our lives, whether it be your partner, your brother, your bartender. I'm not kidding. I've given my bartender books before. I don't know if I should be disclosing that, but I have that close of a relationship with my favorite bartender. And yes, I lend him books all the time. For that type of reader, somebody who is like, I don't really read, or if I do, it's nonfiction, right? We all have those men.
Oh, I like war, battle, epic books that talk about the Civil War or American politics.
You know that reader? You know that reader? So you want to get that reader something that is going to hold their attention. Something that they are not going to be able to put down. And you also want to make sure that the main character is relatable to them. Most of them are not going to be willing to read a book with a female main character. They're just not. At least not yet. They need to warm up to that idea. So in the beginning, I'm going to recommend one book that I have given to countless people who say, oh, I don't really read fiction because I just know it is so fast-paced that they're going to fall in love. That book is Dark Matter. I have lent this to a million people. It is something that I think almost anyone could like, and it is something that will hold their attention and make them realize that not all fiction is what they think it is, and that they can fall in love with fiction again. It's the perfect book for them. What about for the younger girl in your life? That sounds creepy. I'm talking like your little sister, your little cousin, or your nieces and nephews who are, let's say, 20, and they're like, oh, I don't really have time to read. I have a sister who, anytime she tells me that she's reading a book, it's always something that's like so intense. Like, I think there's this time in our lives when we're in our 20s that we think we need to read like classics and we need to read these really smart books that make us look smart and feel smart and think smart. And she kept picking up these books that were just not holding her attention. And I'm like, babe, just read something that'll hold your attention. And so that reader, I want you to give them a romance. I want you to give them a rom-com. I want you to give them a Christina Lauren, a Tessa Bailey, an Emily Henry, an Abby Jimenez. I want you to give them something that they can read in 2 days flat. And they're going to realize, oh, not all books are like the books I read in school. Some of them are just for fun. Some of them are just for kicks, for giggles. This especially goes for anyone who's a student, especially college students, because they're always going to tell you they don't have time to read. And when they do read, they're slogging through these like epic books that it's like, you don't have to read that, babe. I promise you, there are other books out there that are so much easier. That same person, you can give them a Frida McFadden. Think what the TikTok girlies are reading. Give them something that's fast-paced, that's going to hold their attention, that's going to make them finish that book in 2 days flat and go, wait a minute, I didn't know books could be this easy. And finally, for any of you that have kids in your lives, whether they're your own kids or someone else's, one of my favorite things to give kids any time of year is books. And maybe I'm not the most popular sister, aunt, cousin, whatever, but I just think it's so important to start kids early with reading. I think we can all agree on that. It's so much fun to give the child in your life something super nostalgic for you, something that you loved as a kid, that you remember. You look at that cover and you have those nostalgic feelings about reading that book when you were that person's age. I have an 8-year-old brother, and I try and give him a book at every holiday, every birthday. Even if I give him other gifts, I try and give him books that I loved when I was his age. And it's been so much fun sharing some of my favorite childhood memories with him as he's gotten older and older, starting out with picture books. Now he's reading little chapter books. Think of your favorite memory, the book that you read as a kid, and then gift that to the child in your life. And if you're a little bit nervous about giving books to your friends and family that might not be big readers, make it special, make it unique, make it meaningful. And here's what I mean by that. Don't just give them a book. Make it a whole experience. Tell them it's a book that you love, that you want to share with them. Wrap it up with maybe a cozy blanket or a candle or a bookmark or a coffee mug or something that's going to make them think of you every time they use it. And I'm telling you, even for somebody that's like, I don't read, they are going to find that gift meaningful and special. And they're going to read the book because you told them to. And they love you. I hope that some of these ideas were helpful for you, whether you go out and get them for your friends or loved ones, or add them to your own wish list for Santa, because 'tis the season to treat ourselves, right? Sorry. I know. Can you tell we're in the middle of the month now and I'm sort of falling apart? Is that obvious to anyone but me? I'm doing my best, guys. I'm doing my best. If you made it this far, leave a fire emoji. Because why not? Why not? I appreciate every single one of you so much, and I hope you get everything that you asked for this holiday season. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in another video very soon. Hopefully. Bye.